Welcome, everyone, to Self-Care in Stressful Times. I am so glad that you have joined us today. I'm Kelly Grimes, and I'm one of your hosts and the Director of Community Engagement for Leap to Success. Leap to Success is a women's empowerment organization with a mission to educate and empower women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and any other major life challenge to reach their greatest potential. So today's topic of growth mindset fits in perfectly with what we teach in all of our programs at Leap to Success. Now, we started this webinar series back a year ago in order to provide support to our community partners and people out in the community, including our graduates and our donors and everyone else who has been navigating a very difficult time with the pandemic. And so we wanted to share many of the tools that we teach in our classes to the wider community. And so we're so happy that you have prioritized 30 minutes for yourself today and that you have joined us. I want to tell you about our theme today. So we have been using themes for the month, and that started in January as we have a beautiful new calendar that we started that with. In April, the theme is I am able to learn and grow, which friends, is a growth mindset. And so today we are going to explore more about a growth mindset, understand how it fits into self-care and stress management, and understand how we can start to embrace and embody this perspective as a way of really engaging in an empowered way in our lives. So Carol Dweck is this amazing psychologist, and she has a whole body of work around growth mindset that we're going to be delving into today. But I want to start and share a quote that she has in her book, Mindset, so that you get a sense of what we're going to be doing before we begin. So she says, in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, that brains and talent are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. So we're going to explore how you can cultivate more of a growth mindset as a practice of self-care and self-nurturing, and as a way of decreasing stress and overwhelm in our lives. And speaking of stress and overwhelm in our lives, the way that we begin our webinar series is to take a poll. We feel like it's really important to have a snapshot of where folks are when we first start. And then we do a poll at the end to see where you are then, after we practiced a mindfulness exercise and taught something. Where are you at that point? So would you please answer the survey right now about what is your current level of stress? Sometimes this might be the first pause that you've had in your day, or even in the last few days, to kind of check in. We know how important checking in with ourselves is, especially around stress, so it doesn't get to such an overwhelming level that we're catching things sooner and sooner and can put different practices into place. So I'm not seeing, let's see. Looks like the results are, we have a couple of people up around 6 and 7, but the majority are at about a 4 and a 3 today. So that's just really good information, and we're really grateful that you pause and do that assessment of yourself. So now I want to invite you into a mindfulness practice. And I'm going to ask that you just bring a sense of curiosity and non-judgment to yourself. And we're simply just going to pay attention on purpose. We're just going to notice. So if you will, place your feet on the ground. You might really move a little bit and settle into your chair so that you get into a comfortable position. And then if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes or just soften them down. And let's take a few really deep breaths in and out through our mouths. If you're feeling any anxiety, you're up at a little bit of a higher level, really allow yourself to exhale through your mouth. It's a really powerful way to settle our nervous system. On the next few breaths, you might breathe in, hold it for a moment, and then as you're breathing out through your mouth, just release anything that's worrying you in this moment. Gonna pause at the top of your breath. Think about something you want to release, and on your exhale, just release anything that isn't serving you. And now you may want to place your hand on your belly as a way of indicating if you are able to breathe in a little bit more deeply. If you can allow your belly to expand on your inhale, and then as you exhale, you might find it contract a little bit. What's helpful about that is that when we're stressed, we often have really shallow breathing in our chest. So by placing a hand on the belly, you're giving yourself permission to breathe in more deeply, and then allow that to release. What's powerful is that just breathing deeply for 10 breaths in and out can literally rewire our neural pathways, can settle ourselves. We can also invite in an intention upon a breath. So maybe you have an intention of feeling more grounded in this moment. So you breathe that in. And on the exhale, release any sense of worry, stress, any sense of chaos. Now, last week in our grounding exercise, I invited you to think about something that you had overcome. And I'm going to invite you now to think about a challenge that you have overcome during this pandemic. And now think about what you learned about yourself through that process of overcoming it. Now reflect on the question of how are you stronger and wiser as a result of overcoming that challenge? I invite you to place your hand on your heart and really acknowledge yourself for your hard work, your effort, your perseverance, and your resilience. All of those things that supported you in overcoming that challenge. And breathe into a deep sense of gratitude for yourself. Gratitude for the new skills and the new sense of belief and confidence that you have in yourself, that you can recognize, that has grown in you as you have navigated this difficult challenge. Allow that sense of gratitude to radiate out. Feel that gratitude throughout your body. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to float open. Come back. And let's see how what we just did really connects with this sense of growth mindset. You see, I believe that understanding and embracing a growth mindset is critical to empowering ourselves and others, cultivating resilience, and decreasing stress in our lives, as well as caring deeply and nurturing ourselves. Carol Dweck states that in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, and that brains and talent, they're just the starting point. This view creates this love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. And I would say, friends, that whatever challenge you overcame in the midst of a pandemic is a great accomplishment, right? It is amazing how well we are all doing with the ongoing challenges that we have faced over the last year, both personally as well as a collective and worldwide. What I really appreciate about Carol Dweck's research and her body of work is that it highlights an important distinction between someone that has a fixed mindset, which is this belief that they were born into their talents. So if they're not good at something, then no amount of effort will ever make them better. And someone who has a growth mindset where they believe that they can improve themselves and they can grow their talents, their abilities, their intelligence. Now, she's done research with students across the world, and you will find some amazing TED Talks and other videos on YouTube and other places where she talks about them. But what she's found is that those with a growth mindset were more successful in all areas of their lives. And this was true from improving scores on tests or performance on tasks over time, to learning difficult new skills and changing habits for good, right? So it's amazing the long-term and remarkable impacts that shifting this mindset out of this fixed mindset, I just am who I am, right? Nothing can ever change, to, oh, I actually, with effort, strategy, hard work, can actually grow all of those things within myself. It's a much more empowering perspective. Over time, those with a fixed mindset, this thought that I'm all I can be, like I can't, develop anymore, they actually backed off from challenging learning and they stopped growing, which, guess what? It reinforced that belief about themselves, right? If they weren't growing, they were the same as they had been. And so it reinforced their fixed mindset. However, those that believe that talent and intelligence is not a gift, but it's something that they could put more effort into, use new strategies to develop, they were more likely to take on challenges. They were more likely to be resilient when they faced setbacks. And guess what? They learned more, which was remarkable. So what an empowering perspective, right? That we could reinforce for ourselves. And I will tell you that as an organization, in our Leap to Confidence classes, that's exactly what we do. And in our empowerment circles, where graduates are invited to come after and continue to learn from each other, continue to grow, continue to support one another. Because we don't look at confidence as a destination. We look at it rather as a quality to be nurtured and cultivated and continue to be grown. So, what is so exciting about this is that once you understand the truth about your ability to grow, you can change the way you think about challenges, right? So let's think about a challenge from a fixed mindset. So a person with a fixed mindset may approach a challenge and think, will I look smart or stupid while doing this? Right? You can imagine if you were thinking that way, it would be really hard to take a risk to try something new because, you would be limited by that perspective. However, A person with a growth mindset might approach a challenge and think, how might I learn and grow? Right? Super open, super non-judgmental, just, oh, curious, how could I learn and grow? I imagine coming from that perspective, you would be way more receptive to what you were learning, right? Um, and imagine how much more confident you would be and motivated to learn if you didn't think you had to know it before you even got there. Um, in contrast, when we look at a difficult challenge for a person with a fixed mindset, they might think, oh, I'm not smart enough to do this. I can't even try. I'm not smart enough to do this. Whereas a person that has a growth mindset might say, I'm not smart enough to do this yet. Now that word yet is huge. And I hope that we all start including it in our conversations with ourselves and with other people, because that powerful 3-letter word reinforces the possibility of growth, and it guides us back to a belief in ourselves and our own capabilities, right? It's not that I can't do it, I just can't do it yet, right? I'm learning to do that. It really shifts things. And so if you notice yourself saying, I'm not good at that, try, I'm not good at that yet. And notice how that feels. Notice the difference it makes in your perspective, right? About what could be possible for you. Making this transition from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset then changes the story, right? So a story that goes, I am who I am. My personality, my intelligence, my talents, they're fixed. I'm the kind of person that, where that gets really stuck. It changes it to, I am a constant learner. My abilities are constantly evolving and growing. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel way more empowered when I come from that perspective. Carol Dweck has really supported us with her research in transforming this either or thinking, right? This all or nothing thinking that we can get stuck in, to, even this sense of like, did I win? Did I lose that situation? Into a resilient and growth mindset where did I make my best effort? Then, indeed, your mistakes, your failures, your challenges, they just become building blocks for your confidence, your belief in yourself, and they support you in responding to yourself with compassion and kindness. And I feel like this is so important when it comes to self-care and self-nurturing. We create so much stress in our lives by how we treat ourselves, right? Think about a mistake that you've made lately. If you made that mistake and you responded to yourself with, how could you be so stupid? I can't believe you did that. You did that again. All of that kind of inner critic, berating, unkind things that we say to ourselves. That keeps us held hostage in a fixed mindset, right? It limits our ability to see what we could learn from a situation when we criticize ourselves. If instead we start to embrace more of a growth mindset, we might respond to a mistake that we made by, wow, what did I learn? What could I do differently? What strategy might I need to grow? Or what information do I need in order to respond differently to that situation? And through that growth mindset, we move away from thinking we're the mistake, right? The identity, I'm a mistake, to I made a mistake. That's one of the things that we teach in our Leap to Confidence class. And I am telling you, it has transformed my life. Really shifting out of thinking that I had to be perfect and instead seeing all of this as opportunities to learn and grow. And that has opened up so much possibility. Lower stress, kinder words I say to myself, more self-compassion. And I have seen this not just for myself, but over and over again with participants that have gone through our Leap to Confidence classes. This shift, this softening, this opening to what What did I learn from this situation? And to those questions I asked earlier, how are you stronger and wiser because you overcame that challenge? Really coming from this place where we're cultivating resilience within ourselves through a growth mindset. We're not stuck in one certain identity of who we are. We are constantly growing and evolving. So I'm so grateful for the framework around growth mindset because it moves us away from a unrealistic expectations of ourselves, a sense of perfectionism, into the process of learning and growing and becoming, all of who we can become. I really like, instead of, I'm bad at something, to say I'm learning, right? I'm learning to bake. I'm learning to, play the mandolin. I'm learning whatever. And I know this has been such a beautiful opportunity during our pandemic and the, being at home more for people to take up new things. I'm sure many of you have had lots of opportunities to learn and grow during the pandemic. And I know our episode last week, we were talking about lots of different ways, whether it's podcasts, books, YouTube videos, learning apps, all of those different ways that we can continue to learn and grow. And the thing that I really love about all of this is we're cultivating resilience. We're nurturing ourselves in this process. But friends, we know from brain research, we are actually supporting the neural plasticity in our brain. So every time that we grow, we're growing our brain. We're speeding up the circuits in our brain, and we're creating new neural pathways. Right? We know that what wires together fires together. So all of the brain research that we have goes beautifully with a growth mindset and understanding that we can be empowered to grow our brains, right? We don't just get the intelligence we have at birth, we grow it. And I just think that is so empowering and really shifts the narrative to a positive and encouraging one, and motivating. It's so motivating that we can grow our brain's capacity to learn and grow. And just really, for me, it feels like a place to put my attention and intention. So knowing this can help us embrace our courage, our confidence, to let go of perfectionism, stretch outside our comfort zones, and become lifelong learners, recognizing our hard work, our effort, our strategy, and our progress, rather than being fixed in who we are. Now, when I had you place your hand on your heart and acknowledge that about yourself, your hard work, your effort, it's really important. We know it's important for resilience building. It is very important to focus rather not focus on that we're intelligent or we're this or that, rather focus on our hard work, our efforts, our strategy. And to do that for those in our lives. Do that for our youth we're interacting with. Do that for clients that we're working with. Do that everywhere. Focus on the effort and the hard work and the strategy rather than on these fixed characteristics. So I'm wondering, friends, if you would be willing to share with me, how have you grown during the pandemic? It's really, when we are able to hear from others, it's so empowering to know that others have a growth mindset and that they're actively doing things to grow. I find it really motivating for me to hear what other people are doing. And that's what we have at our weekly empowerment circles. For all of our graduates from our Leap to Success programs can come back weekly to an empowerment circle. And it has been wonderful to hear how people have continued to learn and grow over time. And I just saw that somebody said that they have grown a lot in their technological capabilities. Yes, I'm sure many of us have really had to stretch as we've used more Zoom and other technology to stay connected. So that's an excellent one. And someone else said that they become comfortable with Zoom. Yes, who would think that this would be the way? I know in the past, prior to doing these webinars, being recorded was totally uncomfortable for me. And now, every week for, gosh, a year and a couple of months I've been recorded. So I've really grown in that area. I see someone else says that they've learned to be kinder to themselves and embraced meditation. That's so wonderful. Someone else shared that they've been able to support other women in recovery as a sponsor. Oh, that's beautiful. See, this is what happens, friends. When we do this work for ourselves, then we naturally just want to share with others. We want to support others. We want to see the possibility in others. When someone says to me, I'm not good at that, I might say, yet, like in a gentle way, yet, offering them the opportunity to see something from another perspective. I had asked the graduates in my empowerment circle yesterday to share with me about growth mindset, what it means to them, etc. And I love some of the responses I'd love to share with you. One woman shared that it reinforces the importance of growth and that growth is actually the goal. Like how fabulous is that? One woman shared that it's made all the difference in her life because it helped her out of the rut of hopelessness and despair. When we have a perspective we can do something, when we feel empowered and we're really tapping into our resilience, we can move out of hopelessness and despair into a place of possibility. Another person said it encourages empowerment and choice, right? If I have a growth mindset, it's like I may have made a choice then that wasn't as encouraging as I'd like it to be, but I can make a different choice next time because I'm in a process of learning and growing. Another person said it helped her think outside the box and figure out how she can get things done rather than get stuck in the problem. And I know that could be super helpful for all of us. And another person said it also reminds them that they need to be around others who have a growth mindset because that's really encouraging as they continue to grow. So I want you to know that if you want to learn more about Carol Dweck, there is so many videos and other things. She's a professor at Stanford University, a psychologist, and she's really renowned in the area of growth mindset. So all you have to do is Google her and growth mindset, and you'll find a lot. I want to share what someone else said is that they've had to learn how to be a single mom, figure out everything from my phone without a computer, learn to prioritize cooking, and most importantly, learn to stand up against verbal abuse and set firm boundaries. Oh, that is really, really inspiring. I really appreciate you sharing that. And, every time we heal, every time we grow, every time we stretch outside of our comfort zone, to make a empowered change in our life, we are embracing a growth mindset. And so you may reflect this week and wonder to yourself, where else could you bring a new sense of a growth mindset to an area of your life so that you actually can embody the power of not yet? So you haven't done it yet, but what area are you wanting to grow? What area of your life would you benefit from having more of a growth mindset that you could intentionally add the word yet at the end of whatever your statement is? I want to share, have us do our poll before I share a closing quote from Carol Dweck. So let's see where people are right now. What is your current level of stress? I love this little, perspective before and after. It's just helpful. And then it reminds you of the things, whether it's breathing or coming together to learn something new or try a new practice or share, whatever those things are that support you in really caring for yourself deeply so that you can lower the stress in your life. It reminds you that it's actually helpful. So it looks like the majority of folks are down to a 2. We still have a person up at 7. So I would say, as much as you can, be gentle and kind to yourself. I think that sometimes is the healing salve that also supports us in our times of stress. So I want to close with a beautiful quote from Carol Dweck. She said, why waste time proving over and over how great you are when you could be getting better? Why hide deficiencies instead of overcoming them? Why look for friends or partners who will shore up your self-esteem instead of the ones that'll challenge you to grow? And why seek out tried and true instead of experiences that will stretch you? The passion for stretching yourself and sticking to it, even or especially when it's not going well, is the hallmark of a growth mindset. This is the mindset that allows people to thrive during the most challenging times in their lives. So, my hope for you is that you go out and thrive. Please join us again next week. We're going to be looking at growing our strengths. And I hope that you all are safe and well. Thanks for being here today. Bye-bye.